Welcome to Loud Poets. Please clap your hands, stamp your feet, and make some noise for your host and compere, Kevin Mclean.
Hello, and welcome to Loud Poets Slam! Oh yeah! Thank you so much for that wonderful reception. Thank you so much. I know a lot of the compares you've seen at StAnza kind of come on quite humbly. Not me. Big video for Kev. That's what I'm after. Guys, thank you so much for coming along. Is everyone having a nice time at StAnza? Wonderful. We've been here all day. We were doing some workshops earlier in the day, and now we are here with the Loud Poets / StAnza Slam. We are very excited. My name is Kevin Mclean. I will be your host for this evening, which is good because it means you'll see progressively less of me as the evening goes on. It'll be wonderful. You are here to see our slammers. Give me a little whoop if you have been to a poetry slam before. Good whoop. That is a good sign for the rest of the evening. Solid whoop. Give me a little whoop if you have never been to a poetry slam before. Same people. We're just excited to be out. No, lovely. Good. Well, whether you have been to a million poetry slams or this is your very first one, we thank you massively for coming along. So if you've been following Loud Poets for a while, you might know we did a huge slam series last year, and we are back for more. For those that have never been to a poetry slam, who have wandered in here and like, this is about shouty for the center stage, don't worry, you're going to be fine. It's going to be lovely. We are the Loud Poets, and we are here to ease you into the world of slam. So what is a slam, a poetry slam? Well, it is where you get some wonderful, talented poets and you judge them. No, it started out in Chicago. Mark Smith started the poetry slam as a wonderful way to get audiences, which is because competition makes people interested, and poetry could use that sometimes. So that was exciting. And it was a great tool. Slam is a wonderful thing and a kind of terrible thing at the same time, where like the idea of judging poetry, who could? It's a kind of terrible way to go. But it means you get a bunch of awesome poets in one night, a bunch of different styles, a bunch of different voices, and it's a kind of energetic, fun, spoken word evening. So that is what you are in store for. The way it's worked is we have 3 rounds. 10 poets. The first round, all 10 poets will read. They will have 3 minutes at the microphone, one after the other, to wow you with their poetic prowess. And they will be judged and be given a score, and the top 6 scores will move through to the second round, where they'll have another 3 minutes at the mic, and then the top 3 poets from that round will go on to the final, where they will have another 3 minutes at the mic. And the winner will receive a grand prize of £200. If you think that's exciting, just wait. So this is our East Heat. What does that mean? Well, it means we are going all over Scotland and doing these Loud Poet Slams. We are doing StAnza for the East. We are doing the Paisley Book Festival for the West. We are partnering up with Dumfries and Galloway Arts Festival for the South. We are going to be partnering with Aberdeen Performing Arts for the North. We are going to be up in Inverness for the Highlands. And then we are going to be at our home, Loud Poets regular home in Edinburgh, and the Scottish Storytelling Centre for the Central Heat. And the winner and runner-up of all of those heats will qualify for our Grand Slam final in August, which will take place in Edinburgh, and the winner will receive £3,000, which, if you know anything about poetry or money, is a fucking lot. We're very excited. It was a big deal last year. So being a spoken word artist doesn't come with a lot of prizes, and we thought that was a pity. So we wanted to institute a prize that had the same kind of weight as some of the more literary focused prizes that you see around, that could give a spoken word artist a real boost, kind of have a big impact on their career and give them some impetus to do more amazing work. Our Grand Slam final this year was time. It's a messy soup. So last year, our Grand Slam final was won by the extraordinary Rosie Jo Hunter, and it was an absolutely spectacular event that took place at the Edinburgh International Book Festival. We had like almost 400 people there. It was wild, and so that was an amazing event. If and when you get a first and second place person who are going to qualify, please keep up with the Slam series. It would be lovely to get all the regions supporting their acts. It was so sweet. We got, during the Grand Slam final last August, we got sent a photo from the Stove Cafe in Dumfries, where the regular open mic that we had partnered with for the South Heat, they all went to the Stove and live streamed the event and watched it and cheered on their champs. It made me all melty inside. It was wonderful. So yeah, please do keep track of that. And that's the good thing. You can, because we are going to be putting all of the slams up for free on YouTube, so you can see little snapshots of all these poetry scenes around the country. It's our attempt to link up some of these disparate nights, these sort of unconnected spoken word nights, and give them a big prize and a bit of a community and start to pull all this together, because the spoken word scene, don't know if you guys noticed, could use some help. So we are very focused on doing that at Loud Poets. So that's what tonight is. That is the East Heat. It factors into the big Loud Poets Slam, and you got your poets, and they're going to be judged. But who's going to do the judging? I hear you mumble quietly because you're a polite StAnza audience. Well, that's where our lovely judges come in. So at Loud Poets, we have our resident judge. She is the brains behind the Loud Poets operation, which may be more of an insult than I mean it to be. She is the doctor, the PhD. Give it up for Katie Ailes. She pulled that short straw about 5 years ago and has been judging slams ever since. Lucky lady. And stepping in to represent StAnza. StAnza people are not wanting to judge. Just pointing that out. Every StAnza rep was like, no, thank you. No, I'm good. But we have one brave soul who has stepped in the last minute, who has risen to the challenge. Please give all your love to JJ Fadaka! We hosted an amazing event for, I say we, Katie and Annie Rutherford hosted an incredible event for International Women's Day just the other day. I saw JJ Reid. It was absolutely spectacular. She is more than qualified for this particular task. I know she's going to nail it. And our third and final judge is our last year's East Heat champion, who went on to represent the East at the Grand Slam final. The one, the only, Tom Bird! Oh yeah. Tom is one of the most sort of exciting voices coming out of this region. They have been tearing it up with some absolutely spectacular spoken word. And don't just take my word for it, because Tom is going to be our wonderful sacrificial poet. Got you, Tom. That means, Tom, it's hard. Poems hard. Hosting hard. All our poets are going to come up, and poetry, it can be tough, and we have some poets who are maybe less experienced than others. There's a whole range, and that can be a tricky thing to do. You're a beautiful audience. I'm sure you're going to be very supportive, but it can still be tricky. And so being the first up, well, that's horrible. So we have a sacrificial poet who gets to come up and warm up the mic and get you guys thirsty for more poetry, and Tom is going to do that for us this evening. So that's how the night's going to work. I am going to be here to introduce our poets, to make sure they know what's happening, because they're like, this is a lot of fun, Kev. Can we get fucking started? But they're going to be wonderful. They're going to get into it. I know it's going to be amazing. I am going to run down the list of poets. They are going to be reading in this order. So this is more for them than you guys, just so they know what's happening. So it's going to be Antia, Luis, CD, Natalie, Titi, Alison, Bill, Donna, Dean, and then Mike. Poets, are you good? Oh, that's some nervous poet energy right there. I love it. Audience, are you good? Yes, you have to bring that energy for our poets, because they are terrified. It's going to be wonderful, guys. This is the Loud Poets East Slam Heat. This is the StAnza Slam. Please help me in welcoming your beautiful sacrificial poet this evening. Go absolutely wild for the fantastic Tom Bird!
So tall. Yeah, I still have the fear. So it's normal. But I'm going to start with a somewhat gentle one. It's for romantics that don't have a firm grasp on linear time, which if you have ADHD or autism, hello, friends. I want this poem to be a poem I write seconds before you come into my life. And I'll share it in a public display, so embarrassingly sweet. Or at the very least, not what my grey matter describes it as now, desperate. I'm not desperate. I really want a partner, a home shared and a garden, maybe not kids, but a dog or two would be good. Furry creatures to watch over, both of us taking turns on the canine equivalent of ATM school runs. I want to skid around the house, tidying up frantically because you're about to arrive at mine's for the first time. Sweatily open the door to a voice that makes me unravel in the good way. You run your eyes across my possessions and I hitch a ride on adorable waves of indecipherable micro-expressions until you arrive at the one thing that triggers a scream. Oh, now that's the language I understand. There's noise in feeling. And you can give me the cheese. The total cringe, yeah, please. Photographs in tartan pajamas by a fire, staying up too late. Jigsaw pieces giggle perfectly. The picture's worth the wait. We kiss in brand new places. Hold hands on sticky coffee tables. I promise I'll learn to read just one more face. Yeah, you won't judge me when I say I wanted to be neurotypical sometimes. You know, see how the other half were living. When I couldn't tell what was being said or what a look meant past looking, I know comparison is the thief of joy. But there's been worse criminals looting. And petty theft seems better than pretending I don't long for what I missed when placing societal expectations on my priority to-do list. So I tick boxes of self-care. Like everything depends on it, because it does. I need that motivation to be visible in the best timeline we're creating, where I know true calm and company. So often it gets boring. Doing nothing feels like something when I'm with you. There's no such thing as a clock when our souls walk across the oldest tree roots. And sap leaks between the notches, but remember, scabs mean healing. And we pledge to visit romance anachronistically. Melt initials into the bark, counting rings with each memory carved, branching forwards and back. Imagine how it would have been if we'd met earlier. But dwell on this only a moment, after all, now we're together. And all serious now, you say to me, you can love someone without loving yourself first, you know? Don't let them tell you otherwise. To see yourself through another's gaze is impossible, but to be swayed in the warm breeze of their love for you, it's more than plausible. It sustains. It defies temporal linearity. Oh, I can't wait for the day. It was the best day. I want to write love poems. Thank you, and good luck, poets. Oh, it disappeared.
You can see why they're the champ. Amazing stuff. Thank you so much for kicking us off, Tom. Warming up the mic in spectacular fashion. Thank you, thank you. Now, we move on to the first round. Second up is going to be Luis, but kicking us off, so you need to give them all the love, make all the noise, as we welcome to the stage, Hadia Botti!
Imagine you are on the bus and not sure where to get off. Imagine you are unable to ask anyone to help you. Imagine you got lost somewhere. Imagine you cannot ask passers-by for directions. Imagine you want to go to the cinema, but you are unable to say that you would like to buy a ticket. Imagine you fancy an ice cream cone, but you are unable to tell the seller that what flavor you want. Imagine you need a toilet in a public place, but you cannot ask for the keys. Imagine you would have lots to say in group discussions, but you cannot say anything at all. Imagine you think you never get a job because you usually fail to convince employers at the interview stage. Imagine you sometimes immediately stop talking to a certain person when another person approaches you both. Imagine sometimes you remain silent when asked a person a question. Imagine you might offend strangers by not replying. Imagine sometimes you see a friend in the street, but you are unable to say hi. Imagine sometimes you want to leave, but you cannot say goodbye. Imagine sometimes you get something nice, but you are unable to say thank you. Imagine you cannot speak in certain situations. Imagine sometimes you can speak freely, but sometimes you cannot. Imagine sometimes you are scared when speech is expected. Imagine it is not a choice, but it is often misunderstood. Imagine you are frequently told you were shy, stupid, or rude. Imagine people sometimes treat you as if you did not understand the word. Imagine sometimes you feel like you are invisible. Imagine you are intelligent and educated. Imagine you are confident, you have a tongue, and you can generally speak. Imagine you love chatting with your family at home. Imagine you can scream and shout at home if necessary. Imagine you have good communication skills. Imagine you can be a leader. Imagine you're a good person. Imagine you are suffering from selective mutism or SM. Imagine sometimes you have a fear of speaking. Imagine you are physically able to speak and you can do so when you are in a relaxed and comfortable situation, for example at home, but you cannot speak in other situations such as school, at work, or with strangers. Imagine you are in a fight with yourself every day. Imagine you can overcome SM. Thank you.
We have CD on deck, but coming to the stage now, please keep that applause rolling as we welcome Luis Alzada!
As armas e os barões assinalados, que do ocidental para a ilha lusitana, por mares nunca dantes navegados, passaram ainda além da Taprobana. So, you want to learn to be foreign, a stranger in a strange land. You want me to tell you how some people pure rage when you say something smart or witty or funny on purpose? How you learn to roll your R's and swallow Mars bars and the G in Edinburgh and half of Leicester? Ours is not to wonder why, just to do if you ever want to get a job. How some people just dislike you and you'll never know if it's your haircut or their fascism. Build a life on borrowed time before you're called upon by the populist brigade to take your oaths as the sacrificial scapegoat. Lay down your life as a planned casualty of the culture war. And you have to pretend Shakespeare isn't shit. I say fuck that. Fuck their labels and their quotas. Fuck their helpful feedback from a hack, their carefully posed stereotypes. Fuck that we really want more international content. We're trying to raise awareness of you types. Fuck those who take a stand, as long as it doesn't affect access to any funds. Fuck them buying representation, slinging scraps at the purely performative and the millions at the creeps and the bastards born rich. You want to learn to be me. I identify as human. You need me to tell you to eat your bread by the sweat and sanity of your brow, to look back and be sad by your statues of salt. You want me to pretend I'm the only one who's ever fought for a bad thing or a wicked king or a cheap drink. Like you need me to tell you how we all put away the rough and the weird bits of our identity, lock them away, hope one day we can let them out to see these walls. And if they can think they can buy those cheap, they can suck my multicultural balls.
On deck, we have Natalie Jane Clark, but making their way to the stage just now. Please go wild for C.D. Byland.
A solution to any problem. Throw enough shit at the wall and see what sticks. So come on, find your wall, pick up your shit and start rowing. Grab great gloopy gobbed handfuls of the stuff, get well in up to your elbows, paint yourself. Never mind the stink, it's your shit, your stink. Dig up as much of it as you can find. Unearth your personal archaeology down through the layers of days gone by. Discover the things you've left behind. That first flat you stayed in, all the other flats since. Your dad's hand on the back of your bicycle saddle, the taste of a dram nicked from a bottle you found at your grand's. The first time you heard, born, slippy. That first night their head was on your pillow. All those other nights since. Scrape it up in spadefuls, shovel it with both hands, get pals to help, throw their shit at the wall, have a laugh and stick some music on, have a throw shit at the wall party, make a cake. Not out of shit, but out of sponge and icing and all the good things you treasure and share that bring you together. Go out to the pub afterwards, set the world to rights. When life throws shit at you, when every day feels like a shit sandwich without the bread, when everything that's on TV just seems to be a 24-hour rolling shit show brought to you by the shower of shit that currently sits in positions of authority, an inverse meritocracy run by the aristocracy where all the keys you need in order to succeed are handed over to rich shits while they sit on daddy's knee, when you're so far up shit creek that you can't quite believe there ever were such things as paddles. Pick up your shit and keep throwing. Make it your thing, what you do. Be a guy who spends his time in the back garden just throwing shit at a wall to see what sticks. Let it fly. Enjoy the feeling of letting go, of leaving things behind. Because if there's one thing I know is true, there's more good will ever come from throwing shit at walls than will ever come from building them. Thank you.
Give it up for CD! If you take one thing away from your StAnza experience, don't make cakes out of shit. Put that on a StAnza t-shirt for next year. Guys, we have TT on deck, but please give all the love, make all the noise, and welcome to the stage, Natalie Jane Clark!
To freeze a bee most effectively, capture it in a lidded container. Place the bee in the freezer for exactly 2 minutes. Any less, and all you have is a very angry bee. Any more, and they generally end up dead. I think the same could be said for women. Scare them, hurt them, belittle them a bit. They are pissed off, simmering. Take it too far, well. It's weird to see how often the rough sex excuse is used in the UK for dead Tinder dates. But just the Goldilocks amount, they stop fighting back. Fuzzy heads confused, you can tie a leash around them. Give them the illusion of flight and freedom, though really they are swimming around in circles, bound and restrained. I think it's why teenage girls are so known for screaming at bands, at rides, at heavy rain. They don't know yet why they feel so intensely, but somehow they sense soon they will be in the freezer too. Have you ever heard of the women in refrigerators trope in books and films? It's where a man's loved one is murdered, raped or kidnapped as a way to give the hero his motivation. Move the plot forward. The woman's only role is to be presented as perfect and beautiful and lovely, then hacked to bits and stuffed in a fridge. Her suffering is the price paid to unlock his God mode. The same reasons persist for me as they did as a teen for why I just want to scream. I'm not sure why I stopped. I was reminiscing about my experiences as a young women. How many of your horror stories with men end with, and then I dated him for another 6 months. We were getting hot and heavy and he yanked down my trousers and just shoved it in me. We never had sex before and I lay there wondering if this was the price for me, allowing myself to enjoy the pleasures of kissing and fingers a moment ago. He eventually rolled off, said, sorry. And I said, it's okay. He wasn't apologising for that, no. He was apologising because he came so quickly. And then I dated him for another 6 months. Until about the age of 20, I was weekly catcalled to or honked at or followed walking up the street. And it just stopped. Reflecting back, I thought, maybe it's because my skirts were shorter before. Maybe by 20, I looked tougher. I felt tougher, hardened already. Maybe society had grown and moved on and no other women and girls would have to experience it after me. Maybe men have listened when we say it's fucking frightening. But no, it still happens, just mainly to the young and vulnerable, especially if they are wearing school uniform. Thank you.
Give some love to Mary Jane Clark. Phenomenal stuff, guys. We have Alison on deck, but please build up that applause, build up that love, and welcome to the stage, Titi Fadaka.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be up on stage with you all. This is a lockdown poem. Thank you for still allowing those. Cyber love. I took a job because I missed you so. I imagine your hands, your smooth, elegant hands on my body, as if they were once here before, as if they had touched me before. Only you have penetrated my eyes and ears before, and I miss you, though you haven't been with me like this, and you never will. You're my Zoom crush, sexy, and you don't know it. And you will never know. When we meet in RL, I will never admit to it, give in to it. I will probably be repulsed by you just because that's how reality hit you, hits me, hit us until we are just friends on a timeline together. Never were, will, won't be more, just swiping here and there. Maybe a voice note, maybe two. What was that? In the middle of the night, all these cyber moons ago, Where were you at? Princess Charming, Prince Utopia, Royal Stardust. What was that temporal crush through an Insta timeline? Be my Valentine, my valedictorian, primrose, eucalyptus leaf, sunflower seeds, neatly chewed on and enthusiastically spat out. Long gone, blocked, discharted, chunked, forgotten in isolation or winter.
We have Highland Mystic on deck, but please welcome to the stage, make all the noise for the wonderful Alison Kestner!
Thank you so much. So I decided to go with a short poem, assuming it would take me like 30 seconds to adjust the mic, and it's fine. So this is my little gay poem, Dreaming in Wine Country. No dust collects in a girl dream. Black smoke like ellipses sugars the hills, the barns outside taking shelter from rain when we remember to button our coats on the long walk home. You hold my hand, the months here twitching, each river a coyote running through, belly up, upside down, velvet with the fragrance of moonfall. This dream is a teenage revision of terrestrial bodies that do not harm. Our eyelids like fold-away flowers, my heart like a gosling I follow, expecting your mouth pulling north. You tell me this is wildfire season, but the mountains have simmered for thousands of years. In June, the night snake quivers and pretends we are fatal. A clear-winged moth alights on your collar like a strawberry moon. Keep still. I want us to consider this moon like a body of water. I want us to consider our bodies like water in study of connected phenomena. What dreams did we bury into liquid like stones? I want a ghost with a pierced nose to tell me I can kiss her in a wheat field, to slit my wandering clavicles, retrieve the gold coins I was saving for winter. I am a necromancer. I can hold my own hand when I sit on the bed. My other self, a wolf song in a night dress, pour me inside of her ear. Keep still. Thank you.
Give it up for Alison Kestner! On deck we have Donna, but please welcome to the stage the fantastically titled Highland Mystic!
Right, first of all, thanks, Kevin. Grand name, let's hope the poem lives up to it. This is a my cat story, our family cat's true story. It's called You Deserve It. You deserve it. Take the day off. You deserve it. Time to put your feet up and just sit. Take the weight off, as they say, live to fight another day. Just relax and enjoy a bit of me time now. You've done enough, boy, have you, and how. Don't worry about that incident at all. Best forgotten, no need for total recall. Who knew the cat was sitting there when you sat down in your neighbour's chair? Never knew Kitty could make a noise like that. And you spilt your tea. Oh, talk about scalded cat. Now that was really something else, as the rest went down her next door's dress. The cat jumped up with a screech so high before digging claws into that ministerial guy. Boy, did he squeal with those claws dug in. A man of God, he said, when he came a-calling. There's tender parts down there, you see, below the waist and above the knee. Ha ha, I don't really know what was worse, the cat's scream or the minister's roaring curse. Bet that wasn't in grammar school learnt, as the cat latched on to his godly instrument. Although the holy name was used a lot, I think he'll repeat it in a future sermon. Not. No, a hanging cat after the minister's ball. It's not what you see every day at all. So go on. Beat up, smile, just sit. But God knows you deserve it.
You love the Highland Stay! I am contractually obliged to point out no cats or indeed ministers were harmed in the making of this poetry slam. Guys, we have Dean Sang on deck, but making their way to the stage. Please go absolutely mental for Donna Matthew!
Hello. My ego tells me stories all day, doesn't switch off, gets partway through one tale, then starts it again, says, "What do you think you're up to, hen? You shouldn't be here. Get back in your box. People like you have no right to talk." My ego tells me stories all day, confident like, full of conviction that it's fucking right. Thinks I should listen, make myself small. If I don't bother trying, there's no chance I'll fall. My ego tells me stories all day. Like, my needs are minor and men don't have feelings. Bottle it up or you won't be appealing. Your dad didn't love you. It's your fault he left. Marry that man. He's the best you can get. My ego tells me stories all day, especially at work. It's a wily fox then, spilling its lies at my ballpoint pen. Why don't they listen? Why did he smirk? Because your ideas are crap, love, so shut the hell up. My ego tells me stories all day, inspires me to numb. Chill the Prosecco, you'll be all right, hon. Because if you're busy drinking, life won't get you down. Finish that off. There's a bottle of wine. My ego tells me stories all day when I write poetry. Laughs at my metaphors, they're overused. Twee, you can't do this. Try as you might. Leave it to Iona Lee and look bloody right. My ego tells me stories all day, loud and proud, which is hilarious to me, because that's what it tells me I shouldn't be. Thinks this is kind so I don't feel the pain. But I won't see the sun by avoiding the rain. See, my ego's told me stories for years, and it knew I was listening. It's been telling me the same shite since I was 7, but I'm not 7 now. So I think that it's time to tell it to fuck off with a poetic rhyme.
Donna Matthew, everybody! We have Mike Yule on deck, but your penultimate poet making their way to the stage. Please go wild for Dean Sang!
How are you? To dare uncork, to air, expose that fizz. At night, the tides of froth would rise to meet the moon as bottles roll up stomach walls to waterfalls of beer. And like a bowling pin bouquet fill up the throat against the halls of lip that seal away the sour taste of gloom. How are you? Fermented with I'm fine and nods to keep the office clean enough and stored in crates all sealed with lanyards made from uniforms, the nuts and bolts a row of loves and likes with tweets and memes to secretly rebuff the fingers from the hull. For prying noses, tilting upwards, leering proud to smite my barrel sealed with teeth for corks. Condensed adrenaline from anxious thoughts and stunted forms, a nursery of tempests. Clouds are up to how I shh the awkward open. Are we ashamed of how we fizz? Comparing how we froth and bile to others so serene with crystal powdered liquid soft enough to whiten teeth. The sound it makes to tear the seal and speak to friends and open up is wholly beyond speech. to dribble, gush. Our flavours bruised with backward stigmas stink aloof. To drink with you, this wretched hue of twisted thoughts of self. To open up and leak our froth embarrassed, spill our feelings sloppy, drooling off the napkins on our necks for feeling small and sick. We stir and softly mix our fizz. We bear dysfunction. Table stiff as scooping half pints down our necks of glass and flesh, new flavours slosh. Just like a tonic with its gin or milk in coffee, we begin to slowly dare the truth to spin and let our tides recede. Thank you.
Keep saying, everybody! We have one final poet in the first round, so please give all that love, make all that noise. He's welcome to the stage, Mike Yu!
My mind runs on love power. There's nothing like it quite as motivating. Hear me out. It's healthier than energy drinks, twice as strong as coffee, and 3 times as addicting. Harder to come by these days. It's ration now. No easy way to find it, no working when, where, or how. I'm simply sailing on some ship, my psyche strapped upon the prow, takes loss and sorrow, wave on wave, and just tries not to drown. In a desperate bid for breathing room, I turn the present deep inside and turn memories to the front. Because that's one thing about nostalgia, it's so easy to mine diamonds from the rough. Every compliment, every gift, every sailor's knot of limbs, every laugh and every kiss. From every first hello filled with anxious excitement, to every long goodbye, just not long enough, standing at bus stops in the rain. My mind runs on love power. And one day, that'll be enough. But until then, whether through rephrased idiom, some surely sad refrain, or prayer sent to some god to strike me with silence again, I'll know, never a liar, nor a heartbreaker be. In some home my heart might find that belongs only to you and me.
Give it for Mike Yu! Can we just get a big round of applause for all of your first round slammers? I love slam so much. I said at the top, like, the idea of it being a competition is one thing. The thing I love so much about slams is the range of things you're going to hear on a slam stage. It really is beautiful. Some certain nights have their own tone or their own kind of vibe, whereas at a slam you get this little taste of everything. It's so wonderful. Last year we went all over the country doing these slams, and every single one had this sort of range of poetic styles, of different voices, of different influences. It is such a joy to see, and it gives you a good impression, because, like, I know a lot of slam scenes kind of become this kind of one homogenous voice that sounds the same all the time, and I'm very, very glad that Scotland bucks that trend completely. It is very nice to see, and thank you all for being so supportive to our first round slammers. As our judges are frantically totting up math, 3 poets doing math, I'm sure it'll be fine. I should have pointed out one thing: this is being live streamed. Hello, people watching that aren't here. I don't know where the camera is, so I'm just looking around aimlessly. It's lovely to see you. Thank you for coming along in your house. That's wonderful. But yes, that's very exciting. I'm so glad to see I Am Loud, which is the production company behind Loud Poets, when it was the dark time that we do not discuss. We were lucky enough to edit the StAnza festival when they went digital, and it's very nice to see so much of that continuing. So many festivals, so many lit organizations trying to make sure there is still digital work going on out there, so people that can't make it to the beautiful Bayer Theatre still have the chance to enjoy things like the slam. And also, the other thing I should have pointed out, which it's my favourite thing in the world, I can't believe I didn't point it out, $3,000 Who cares? The winner gets to hold aloft the Loud Poet Slam Championship belt. Is it not majestic? The Byre is now my favorite theater in the world because we came in here and the technician went, oh, we're going to need a belt light. Oh. Turns out I'm going to need a belt light everywhere I go. What a pity for all my future. Byre Theatre, stop. No, it's majestic. Look at it. It's so beautiful. You people do math. No, you don't look at the belt. This is me ad-libbing, so you don't need to. I'll get into it. But yes, that is the true prize. At one of the heats we did, someone came and went, so we get to keep the belt. And I went, no. The belt is everything. You can keep the belt if you give up your prize. That is the rule. Because it's beautiful but expensive. We spent no Creative Scotland money on the belt. That's the official party line. Guys, we are going to be jumping into the second round very soon. We're going to kick that off with our wonderful Sacrificial Poet, but I know for sure they have not done that math yet. So what I'm going to do is a little poem to fill that time, if that's all right. Who was here for Michael Peterson and Liz Lockhead? Again, I love a StAnza crowd because people raised their hands very politely. Loud Poets crew, you're going to just be like, I was here. No, that was wonderful. What an amazing event. It was spectacular. Liz did a poem that referenced the sort of cave paintings, the hands on rocks. And it's a thing that I became fascinated with in lockdown. So I'm missing fingers on one hand. And that kind of what got me hooked on it because like a lot of those hands, because they lived in the before time when like saber-toothed tigers were biting fingers off. I'm a poet, not a historian. But that was, so a lot of those handprints are missing fingers, so I'm very much connected with it. So this is a poem I wrote about a cave in France called Lascaux that two young guys found just after the Second World War. And they were so captured by the beauty of these paintings that they saw that they camped there for a year to defend it. Yeah. Walk in the dark. It's only soil and stone. Call out and hear only your own echoing tone. This inhospitable hole is the furthest thing from a home. Musty air that swirls with dust, tunnels strewn with bones. This place is old, but so are we. And all we ever needed was the light to see. Flickering flame casts a glow that travels back to the feed of the pack, the bite of the cold, the warmth of the gathering, the joy of a story told. Fire stretches its fingers and black walls flood with colour. The collected work of generations, an art installation 18,000 years in the making. A painstaking effort and a time so hard to survive. No reward in mind. Just a way to say we were alive. Or perhaps there was a purpose. A guide to the flora and fauna that could hurt us. Lessons too painful to trust to words spoken. A hall of bulls might simply be the symbol of a single heart broken. Or maybe they're a map. A plan of attack, the animals easiest to track, time spent now, but with full-bellied interest later paid back. There is no way of knowing for sure. But these are not the images that act as Lascaux's lure. No, it is the hands. They are reaching, grasping, pulling directly from the past, the red pigment-blasted absence of a person's pressed palm upon the rock, the thought that you can touch the stone face and place yourself in the exact space of someone so unrecognizable, someone who died before history had begun, but who felt compelled for some memory to be held long after they were gone. How could that be anything but humbling? How could you still your hands from trembling? Would your mind flash To a nursery class of 21st century children placing painted palms on paper later to be displayed not on cave walls but magnet held to family refrigerators. Would you still see unfathomable distance? Or would you finally understand there has only ever been an arm's reach between us? Whoa! Katie fulfilling her best glamorous assistant role there admirably. So, our 6 poets who will be reading in the second round. I'm going to read out the 6 poets in the order that they will be reading, and then to give them a little moment to compose themselves, I will invite Tom back up on the stage to give us our second sacrificial poem. It is so hard to do slams like this. If you did not make it through to the first round, do not take that as a judgment on your poetry. Everyone was fabulous. It is always a margin of tiny points that make the difference. And what do these people know? These random judges, who are they? All right, pipe down, cowl. So it's one of those things. You run the exact same slam again, you'll get a totally different result. So know that everyone did fantastic. Guys, can we get a big round of applause for all of our slammers? So, the 6 poets going through to the second round who will be reading in this order. We are going to do 1 clap at the end. I believe in you, StAnza. It is going to be Mike, Donna, Alison, TT, Natalie, and CD. Give it up for our second round poets! Those are our second round poets, but to kick off the second round, we are going to have our spectacular sacrificial poet. I know my words. Please go absolutely wild as we welcome back Tom Bird!
Stand for a change. Oh, change. Okay. That's misleading. This is going to be sad. Well, yeah, it's going to be sad. Hell, I've not done this one live before, so be gentle. Dear listener, they named a metaphor after you. Let driver of the beam stay passive, as he often pretends to be. Deer in the headlights met fear in the bed like the hunted already know. So, sweet roe, ground yourself. Cope. List your sets of 3. Sights, curtains, alarm clock, bed sheets, sounds, quiet inner ear, your quivering pulse, a wet noise starts, 3 moving parts, wobbly knees, the quake mattress springs, dry blinks, and against your back you feel his thing. No, you don't have to name, hear, or see that. Can't react, change tact, breathe in, hold, out, hold, each for 4 beats. Repeat that, dear, from the word dusty, meaning to gasp. Flash to the blue iris of your recessive genes, dear, have an eyesight angle of 310 degrees. They swallow glacial light, but don't taste the red flags. And rules of the road said you're biologically responsible for car crashes? Regardless of your galloping hope, is it so foolish to believe the buck moon wouldn't fall on such a doe? It hit so hard. You didn't even know you could flee, so just wait 10 seconds, then 10 more. Slip into fantasy. Imagine biting chunks out of neighbourly trees, withstand the bitterness, eroding milk teeth, spit acid in the face of a man who made you forget how to breathe. The following eve, your head is not mounted to a wall in staggering arrogance. Instead, it dreams of an ugly growth, fused to your spinal skin. Deer are prone to these infections, bulging in the crosshairs of symbolism and Trauma demands dissection. Like, which endless second will we retread today? What ocular burn will take the longest to fade? Shh, nah, listen. It will fade. Slow. As the sauntering gradients of approaching dawn sky, subconscious mass weeps less with each disappearing star, obscured by your flowering antlers. And the Wheel of Seasons does not ask you to give reasons for transforming, and you do not have to learn a lesson to justify your freezing, nor recycle assault into silver linings. Define what needs not defining. Nah, you are done with positive spins on traumatic things, uttering niceties to hide the horror for the comfort of observers. Your existence is not a natural history exhibit to mull over. It is a vision. A noise. A movement of wings, scabbing ulcers, hooves that thunder, weary fawn turn delicate periton. You have unthawed. Dear, from old word du somme, you are a creature that breathes. Thank you very much.
Show some love to the spectacular Tom Bird. Phenomenal stuff. Tom has just been an absolute revelation. When I first saw them perform, I was blown away, and every time I see them come to the mic, it has the exact same effect. What a beautiful, beautiful performer. Thank you so much, Tom. Much appreciated. Guys, are you ready for the second round? Then, please, we have Donna on deck, but please help me welcome back our first poet in the second round. Go wild for Mike Yu!
Hello again. I'm glad to report that I can look in the mirror and say I'm the happiest with my body I have ever been. I've conquered the COVID weight, kept up with the gym. Confidence has filled me to the brim way more than it ever did way back when. I'm the happiest with my body that I've ever been. But despite every mental triumph over anxious nights, I still look in the mirror and think, something's not quite right. Laugh lines looking a bit deeper this morning, hairlines looking a bit thinner tonight. These dark shadows, I think, are permanent. They seem impossible to fight. Options getting fewer to treat, or at least more expensive. But what's left to do except buy in? Show me those top 5 anti-wrinkle creams, top 10 ways to keep that hairline unseen. Wait, I'm only 27. Is it normal to worry about these things? Show me the skincare, the hair care, the subscription box. So bullshit. We saw your Google searches and there's nowhere you can hide. So welcome to the internet. We'll take you for a ride. There's so much money to be made from your misbegotten pride. So pick a brand and decide. Preserve what you got while it still looks right. I'm the happiest my body I've ever been, but I still look in the mirror and think there is something wrong with you. And starting at £20 a month, you can fix it. 25 ways to stimulate beard growth and 50 ways to keep that skin looking young and healthy. 100 ways to be a more attractive man in the age of ecstasy. See, this dysphoria is not innate. It's made, manufactured in a boardroom in the USA for profit and personal gain off the backs of others' private pain to tell you, you are not enough. You should look more like us. I'm the happiest with my body I've ever been. But the ceiling keeps getting higher. I didn't think the hard part would be keeping it that way. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody. We have Alison on deck, but please keep that applause going. Keep building it up as we welcome to the stage, Donna Matthews.
It was a childhood memory of her grandparents' house. She was 8, maybe 7. old enough to push herself on the tree swing her Baba Jan made. Carefree, she whooshed semicircles through the air, the image of childhood with her laughter. The sun shone as certain as the love she felt unquestionable. Until they had to leave without their papers, and she never saw them again. She recounts this as we stand in a gallery space in Glasgow's mean city. No smell of citrus or warm soil, and I wonder what became of them. Were they shot in their home as the swing rocked gently in the breeze, or rounded up like cattle? And if this invades my thoughts, then what of hers? As she sleeps, I am cloaked in my blanket of privilege, stitched by my accident of birth. I am distanced from those born into conflict. I can simply turn down the volume, disappear into my own trauma. That's the hierarchy of things. I filter memories through sound bites of whiteness, Persian Gulf, 91, Bad Saddam, Bosnia, 92, although it's safe to visit Croatia now. Afghanistan, 01, post 9/11. Iraq, 03, war for oil. We don't talk about Fallujah. Refugees free to capsize with economic migrants. Ukraine, they did Eurovision in Liverpool. Israel, Palestine, 75 years, 10 months, and 3 days of dead babies, and so it remains. As I come full circle in a gallery space filled with images of women holding hungry children, photographs of missing husbands, and if they are lucky, a chicken to pluck, and all I can do is hold my breath and wonder about the swing and the garden of her grandparents' house. Bombs are weapons thrown for maximum destruction. But when I hear a pin drop, it's typically followed by applause.
Yeah. Give it up for Donna Matthews! We have TT on deck, but please, making their way to the stage as I adjust the microphone. Give it up for Alison Kistner!
Oh, thank you so much. Saves me time. So I had a small poem, and this is my long poem. And it uses biblical imagery, so you know it's very serious. Like light, I walk naked through corridors, and I name back the animals. Mammoth, stellar sea cow, black rhino, or girl. When I shower, I also sing their lost bodies against the surface of water because I know it will not lie to me. My tongue, unearthed completely, errant with love for what was almost the sea. Like black currants, lemon foam, the crab apples my mother once let wild in the yard. There is so much of what's dead I cannot recapture. In childhood, I used to gut the apples' small bellies with a small metal spoon, and now I don't eat with anyone. I order milkshakes to our door and drink the cold down in immaculate solace like light. I don't want someone to know me. I only want your inattention for an afternoon. Your eyelids burnished like whistling kettles or like koi beneath inanimate pools. My mind tipping towards rust by proximity. Where our egos leave more to desire, we've become sentimental with rug burns and plastic bottles. We housebreak grief as a pet. How like a dog, I don't think so much about the ways we might die as the day you threatened to kill me. You were weeping, cry violets on the bathroom tiles, a flower that is not real. You said how you loved me, did not say I will not love you, did not say I cannot love. You say, like light, like light. And I don't want to make jokes about the end of the world, but I am rapping at doors in mistranslation. What are you? Who am I? How are you? What's there? The dodo, the blue buck, a sea wolf at the threshold of my scavenging heart, gone to sleep in the night. I can be very honest this time. I am only pretending not to be desperate. Before using the phone, I used to practice my vowels, E, I, O. I wanted them round or as soft as a starlet's, as though my tongue were moneyed or drugged. I used to dream of a high-wired man who'd beam through my second-floor window to sleep with me. I liked him because he meant I could be wanted without choosing to touch the way light simmers inside of a pupil. I'm not there. I'm not there. I can't name you back or our animals, but I can catalog our extinction. We are both in a room as our bodies dissolve. We are both in this room, each greeting the dawn through its overbite. Our room is the jaw. Our house, containing everything we've owned, has caught to flame, and I cannot, will not, do not protect you. But will you text me back? Say you made it home safely. How will you feed yourself when the birds die, our oceans unbloom? Remember, not all fruit are self-fertile. Take the apple. You need 2 varieties of a similar kind to cross-pollinate, to hold them as closely as bordering suns.
Make some noise for Alison Kessler! We have Natalie on deck, but please give all the love as we welcome back to the stage, Titi Fadaka.
Dreams. Apples, giraffes. I always saw robots by my bed and scary demons. Endless tunnels and the sensation of falling and the bloody taste when you bite your tongue. Snot and water crying in agony and the screams of your mother birthing your siblings, the greatest act of sharing the mic. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me, R-E-S-E-C-T, oh. Grandpa and his patriarchal habits. Can you tell the time yet? Just 2 minutes. That's how long it took to set my pull-along frog on fire. I was 18 months old. Time, grow. In the end, there'll always be sunshine.
Give some love to DG! We have CD Boyland on deck to round off the second round, but please welcome to the stage our penultimate poet, the spectacular Natalie Jane Clark!
Anyone here on medication for their brain state will relate to that tug of war of attrition. Yes, the meds beat the bad demons into submission. They pause that newsletter subscription of you. The daily updates of horrible games you play with life and chores and relationships and feelings and whatever. Except, where's your creative zinginess gone? Your manic pixie ziggy stardust self is lulled and dulled. Now you're just run-of-the-mill, reflexes nil, mayor of Snoozeville on them pills. Yet, without them, you might end up doing something you regret. So please, take your meds. Don't take your meds. Feel like I've lost my gut feeling. My gut's feeling sore as fuck. Sometimes my appetite is suppressed. My stomach's compressed, ingesting nothing till evening when the meds wear off, and I am a cavernous vacuum of tears. But they could help you get out of bed, so please take your meds. Don't take your meds. Be quiet. Shh. Focus. Pay attention. She'd succeed if only she'd try harder, but she seems so much smarter. Why can't she get it down on paper? Lazy, lazy, lazy. You must pass that test, so please take your meds. Don't take your meds. I've got systems. My piles work like a computer cache memory, actually. Most recently, access sits on top. No one else sees the layers of love and sections of stuff like I do, lovingly, orderly. You'd like to not disgust your partner and friends, so please take your meds. Don't take your meds. Side effects include uneven heartbeat, changes in personality, mood changes, mood swings, seeing, feeling or hearing things that are not real, headache, feeling nervous, joint pain, dry mouth, feeling dizzy, heart attack, muscle cramps, blood in urine, feeling aggressive. Trust doctors, they know what they're talking about, and you really can't spend all day in bed, so please take your meds. Thank you.
A poetry slam and some sound medical advice. Fabulous stuff. Guys, we are going to round off this second round. Please give all that energy, all that love, and welcome back to the stage, C.D. Boylan!
In 1989, 97 people died as a result of an act of manslaughter committed at the Hillsborough Football Stadium in Sheffield, England. This is about that. That April day, beneath a west stand swollen like an alderman's belly, safety certificate long expired, near misses swept aside, bollocks. Chairman McGee replied, no one would have died. An open throat with hidden teeth, silently awaiting the coaches parked down Halifax Road, the trains emptying at Wadsley Bridge, the first red scarves on Lepping's Lane, chanting fans whose songs are ballads, swept along by the LIV-ERP, OOL, Liverpool FC, LIV-ERP, OOL, Liverpool FC, chasing Dalglish's second double through your antiquated turnstiles, ratchets waiting to catch on jackets before your 1 in 6 incline into a sun-drenched, spike-fenced gullet, a concrete engine of confinement, iron cages for a heart. Who enters you in darkness to be thrust onto your crumbling terrace? Who steps into the lion's jaws? Who is let in through the gates for fear of injury or death and waved towards the lion's jaws? For I tell you, in the darkness, and I speak it in the light, blessed are the ticket holders, for they will beg and be ignored, for they will try to lift their sons above the fence and be ignored, for they will try to save the bodies beneath their feet and be ignored. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be made to wait in a boys' club by the Hamerton Road, made to dig through a graveyard of Polaroids to find the ones they love, for they will be interrogated, whether they stopped off for a drink, whether they had seen people drinking, whether they usually had a drink before the match. You swallowed fathers and sons, and that was not enough. You swallowed sisters and cousins, and that was not enough. You swallowed husbands and fathers, and that was not enough. You swallowed wives, daughters, laid them out in body bags on a gymnasium floor. For blessed are the dead, for they shall be the property of the South Yorkshire coroner. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for justice on the steps of Sheffield Town Hall, who hunger and thirst for justice on the steps of the High Court, who hunger and thirst for justice on the steps at Birchwood Park, who shall not be forgotten and who never shall forget. Thank you.
Chris Boylan, everybody! Can we get one massive round of applause for all of our second round slammers? Oh, It is times like this that I am very glad I am the host of the Poetry Slam and not a judge of the Poetry Slam. That is a rough job no one wants to do, but I beg them, and so they take pity on me and do. But yes, they are going to be totting up some maths, getting those scores together. Again, it's always the thing with these slams, and we try and say it all the time, that the point of the Poetry Slam isn't the points, it's the poems. And I think whenever you do a slam like this and you have such talented poets sharing their work, it is really a margin of, decimal points. When we did our Grand Slam final back in August, like the difference between the person in 12th place and the person who qualified for the second round in 6th place was like 2 points, which is just shows you how competitive these slams can be. If you ran it on a different night with, different judges, different order of poets, you would get a completely different result. So it's always worth bearing that in mind. But yeah, it's spectacular job from all of our poets. This is our first heat in the 2024 Slam series. So we are very excited to be kicking it off at StAnza. I do want to just say a huge thank you to StAnza for having us, for letting us kind of hijack their Poetry Slam. Very kind. Can we get a big whoop for StAnza? And it is absolutely delightful to be in such a beautiful theatre like the Byre. It is a really special thing. I don't know if you're attending a lot of regular poetry nights. This is not the usual venue for your poetry slams. We are very, very lucky to have such beautiful spaces to perform in. So thank you to the Byre. There is an amazing weekend ahead of you. So I hope everyone sticks about and gets to enjoy a huge amount of StAnza. It's going to be wonderful. If post StAnza you are looking for more poetry, good news. We are a production company. I Am Loud is a spoken word production company, and we film all of our events. So we sort of curate. Last year we had over 200 poets perform on our stages, and a huge amount of those poets have been filmed and put out on our YouTube channel. We release like 3 videos a week of spoken word, and in the past we've done podcasts and we've done online workshops and cinema poems and all of that stuff, all freely accessible. So if you want to see more spoken word poetry, then please do jump on the old I Am Loud YouTube channel. Use Google. You're all from the future. I'm sure you'll figure it out. But yes, please do all of that. Maths is still going. Looks like you're going to have to... 30 seconds. You did some maths. Tom, you get gold star. Yeah, I know you're ahead of the game, bud. Don't even worry about it. It's... StAnza plus loud poets equals yay. Incontrovertible. You know what? You should have done that before your 2 poems, because that's now going to be the enduring image that is left with the people. What was Tom Bird like? Strange. No, fantastic stuff. It is. We're genuinely so excited. This slam series is going to be amazing. If you find yourself in Edinburgh in August, please do come along. I would give you a time and date and venue, but all of those things are secret for a while for reasons. So just, jump on the socials. Again, Google things. You're all from now. It should be fine. See, I didn't start doing a poem because I was assured that there were scores coming. There is nothing more disconcerting than someone confidently shouting, math! Round of applause for Katie Ailes. Our 3 final poets, who will be reading in this order. Can we get a little drum roll? One big cheer at the end. You nailed it first time, StAnza. Let's keep the train going. Your 3 finalists in this order will be C.D. Boyland, one big whoop, Natalie Jane Clark, and Donna Matthew. Those are your 3 finalists, C.D. Boyland, Natalie Jane Clark, Donna Matthew. But can we please get a huge round of applause, not only for your second round slammers, but all of the slammers so far. Make some noise! Guys, it is time for the final round. You've seen him twice. You know you're going to love him. He is spectacular. Please make all the noise. Give all the love as we welcome back to the stage, C.D. Boyland!
high above the city, at the bottom of your garden, far off in the distance, at the end of your street, stand the ghost towers. Nobody talks about them, but we make a daily obeisance to their looming presence that presses on us like a blood clot on the spine. Families light candles in the mornings and at meal times and place them on household altars along with other charms and relics, coins and notes, citizenship papers and letters from the DWP. Sometimes the charms protect us, other times they do not, and we wake in the morning to find our neighbour's house is empty, that our friend is not there to meet us on the way to school. We see the transparent tenants of the towers in the streets and in their parks, transparent hands outstretched, calling out, reaching out to passers going by who mostly ignore them. After a while, they fade and fail and fall between the cracks, and no one sees them anymore. Except that night, when we woke up in our shaking beds to see the cold, bright light shining through our window. There, in the distance, there, at the bottom of the garden stood the ghost towers, white as salt bleached bone, every window lit up with an electric imprecation, every window with a face pressed against the glass. And we knew, though we could not hear them, that every face had a voice, and every voice was calling. Are we not your brothers, oh my brother? Are we not your sisters, oh my sister? Are we not your mothers, oh my daughter? Are we not your fathers, oh my son? Are we not your brothers, oh my brother? Are we not your sisters, oh my sister? Are we not your mothers, oh my daughter? Are we not your fathers, oh my son? Are we not your mothers, oh my brother? Are we not your sisters, oh my sister? Are we not your mothers, oh my daughter? Are we not your fathers, oh my son? And in the morning, the world had turned its face away, and they were gone.
CD Boylan, everybody! Our second poet in the final round making their way to the stage. Please raise the roof as we welcome back Natalie Jane Clark!
We were 13 on our school trip to Germany when a man flashed his genitals in McDonald's. My friends had gone to KFC, blissfully unaware, thankfully spared of any loss of innocence. Spent the next 2 hours feeling full grown, left alone exploring Cologne. And we were at the allotted time at the allotted place to meet our teachers, where we said we'd be. And then Mr. Brown came tearing across the court screaming, "We're so glad you're there!" and bundled us into a taxi. He kept saying, "There was an incident at McDonald's," but that was all. We assumed one of our classmates had chucked a milkshake at someone. It wasn't until the second person of the day came running and screaming at us that we knew there was a serious problem at all. A girl in our class told us through the breathlessness and tears they all thought we'd been kidnapped by the man. The way she capitalized those words in her speech, the man. She attempted to explain what she saw when he reached inside his trousers and pulled his penis out, waggled it about at our set of school kids. She was sitting and he was standing. She couldn't even say the word penis. The bobbit worm is a common fish tank parasite and can grow to lengths as long as 10 feet. It begins innocently enough, a tiny harmless looking thing clinging to some fish tank flora, and it grows. My first unsolicited dick pic was when I was 14. It was actually a gift sent to me via MSN. I watched it over and over again. It was purple and turgid, a word I'd first learnt in biology that week. I remember thinking, it wasn't what I expected, based on all the drawings I saw scrawled all day long in maths textbooks, in dictionaries, on tables, in the fog, on windows. Many years later, as a teacher, I learnt there was nothing you could do about the waves of dicks on absolutely everything. Was anything done about that man in McDonald's all those years ago? Not much is being done about cyber flashes now, despite there often being actual evidence of who it is and what they've done recorded in perpetuity digitally. Yes, many make fake accounts, many make multiple fake accounts, but they can be easily traced. Blocking doesn't solve it. Then make a new account or go harass someone else. Making your social media private isn't the answer, especially if you're a public figure. It's another way of saying, don't walk down the street late at night by yourself. Police your own behaviour, not the behaviour of men. People have received dick pics on LinkedIn. The bobbit worm hides in the lovely rocky landscape you've made in your home aquarium. You won't even know it's there till your fish go missing, till you catch a glimpse of its exposed head for yourself. You can try to stop it, catch it, stab it, cut it, but it just splits up so easily and new bobbit worms form, each having the potential to grow to 10 feet long. You have to start your fish tank again. Remove the rock. Start from the top. Thank you.
Nellie J. Clark, everybody! We have one final poet in the Loud Poets Stanza Slam, so please give all that energy, every last drop you have, as we welcome back Donna Matthew!
I watch the number 10 bus to the Royal Alexandra Hospital hiss past my window. It's where I was born, 4 streets away from where I live today. A twin girl and a twin boy to Amalfi Fergusley. New reason 3 under 3, it was barely 1980. She was barely quarter of a century. In the council house she tended tots, addiction, tended dad, clocks tick, home pished, bottles emptied while he sleeps, others filled for night feeds, alley, valley bee. A twin buggy and rains, it rains at bus stops and poplin coats don't break the wind, but kindness helps her up the steps, skin like steamed up windies, freezing toes. Went to the Millerstone Archies, then on foot to 117 Camden Road, pushing and panting and dodging broken glass and dog shit and half balancing a toddler on her hip. To grands who doled out tough love like family allowance, just enough to keep her going. You've made your bed, so wake up early and empty the bottles again because you get the weans to think about new hen. And so she keeps going. Or bus routes are lifelines and state nursery means a chance to work part-time and leave a marriage far behind. And walk through doors of municipal buildings with her gingerbread family. Because it takes a village to raise a single mum that said enough. Finally. And so it's 1988. And we're Mrs. Thatcher's wains, so for the able seeking knowledge who can jump a bus to college, there's an access course to social work. And she's determined. So she juggles unpaid labour, shifts and studies while the local pool and school provide essential childcare. Until 1993, when her beaming family watch her graduate for the cloisters at Glasgow University, that girl for 117 Camden Road, Fergusley. Who demoed against the poll tax but bought her council house back because her paycheck meant she could for her kids. So this is for the mas and the maws and the matriarchs that break their fucking backs getting wains on enough buses. So I can sit there writing poems in my plush wee Georgian home, owning all my truth and my journey via single parent house to watch the number 10 bus to the Royal Alexandra Hospital hiss past my window. Thank you.
Donna Matthew, everybody! Wow, that was quite the final round. Amazing job to all of our poets. This has been an exceptional slam. Thank you so much for competing, for sharing your words, and for you guys for giving the energy, for giving the gusto with no interval. I respect it. Hardcore, straight through, no stops. Let's go. I love it. Hey, guys. This is the first of 6 amazing slams we're going to be doing. Like I said, they're all going to go out online, so please follow along. Please keep up with the slam series. I will give you a short poem while they're tatting up the scores. Totting, yes. I want to be a mountain so that you and I can stand side by side and make valleys together. I want to be the East Coast of America, so you can be the West, and when separation puts our love to the test, a nation will build railroads for us. I want to be the sun, so you can be the moon, and when we align, the whole world will look up, but it'll be so dark, only we can see what we're doing. I want to be Adam and Eve, before the shame of fig leaves, so we can be the first to experience kiss and touch and love and lust. I want to be Batman, so you can be Wonder Woman and we can make fun of Aquaman together. I guess what I'm trying to say is I want you, and I want you to want me too. I want to swim in your eyes, not because they're blue, because they have unexplored depths, and I want to dive to the bottom of you. I want you to be my first sober first kiss. I want you to make up for all the drunken ones I've missed, because I honestly can't think of a drink I want to taste more than your lips. I want to be every blade of grass. So when at last the sun begins to rise, I know you'll be holding me like morning dew. I guess what I'm trying to say is I want you. And I want you to know, I don't say this with ease. I was ready to swear off love for good until you swept in like an ocean breeze and blew my line in the sand back into beach again. I've wanted to tell you this 1,000,000 times before, but instead, I write love poems, and I don't want to have to write them anymore. So yeah, this has been a really fun slam, and it's gonna I just like to antagonize the poets. They're a feral people. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna announce who came in second, because we need to know that, because they're qualifying for the Grand Slam final, and then I will announce who is first and wins the heat, qualifies for the final, and gets the cash prize for the heat. All right, so it'll just be second and then first. Everyone follow? Good. So, in second place, little drum roll, please. Give it up for C.D. Boylan! And in first place, your Loud Poets StAnza Slam champion, East Heat rep, and going on to the Grand Slam final, please go absolutely fucking wild for Donna Matthew! Hold aloft the title. Just hold it up. Just give it loudly. Yes! Fantastic stuff. We don't have time for a sacrificial poem. Is that all right? But well done. Amazing. Give it up for Donna Matthew! I just want to say, can we get one big round of applause for all of the staff here at the Buyer? They do an absolutely fucking incredible job. Give it up for the staff. A big round of applause for our beautiful judges. For our spectacular sacrificial, the one, the only Tom Bird. Give it up for all of your slammers. And one huge final round of applause for your StAnza Slam champion, Donna Matthews. I have been Kevin Mclean. This has been Loud Poets. You guys have been fucking fantastic. Enjoy the rest of your stanza. We will see you again. Good night.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, we'd appreciate it if you could hit the like button, if you could hit the subscribe button, and make sure to ring that bell icon so you don't miss any updates from us in the future. If you want to go that extra mile and support us a little further, we do have a Patreon channel with loads of exclusive goodies, and you can sign up for as little as $1 a month. We appreciate your help, guys, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.